What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Well, today I want to put this video out because I'm so sick and tired of I'm still tired of the fighting. I was in a forum the other day and I saw these people, and it seems to be like these science-based winged up motherfuckers that are still around. It seems like there's a whole new wave of them. Like, back when I started YouTube doing this shit, there was a whole bunch of these winged up motherfuckers, and they would not shut the fuck up about how wrong the bros were, even though these people have accomplished nothing, and they look like nothing. How stupid bros are, even though bros are actually about 7 to 10 years ahead of the scientific community when it comes to all this bodybuilding stuff. I saw them making fun of Arnold, and I'll be honest with you, it pissed me off. It riled me up a little bit, and it's not just Arnold, because I've heard a lot of old timers say the same thing that Arnold said that they were making fun of, and they're not wrong. The old timers, Arnold, they're not wrong. Despite the scientific community not understanding, they're supposed to be the smart ones, right? Scientific community, but they lack the understanding, the common understanding of what these people are trying to say in context, which makes me go, common sense must be out the fucking window with these science people, because they fucking, they just sound so fucking stupid. Let me explain. So throughout the years, and it's been since I started bodybuilding, like in the, I was 91, I think, 1990, 91, somewhere around there, I started bodybuilding. You would hear, oh, you gotta shock the body, you gotta shock the muscles, right? You gotta shock it into growth, you have to shock it into new growth, right? And you would hear that, and you would, as you were coming up, you were learning progressive resistance, progressive overload. Like, you weren't ready to shock the body. It was actually an advanced technique, shocking the body, shocking the muscles, shocking the muscles. And that's what Arnold said in this video, was like, you've got to shock the muscles, right? To get them, eventually the body knows what's coming, it knows what's going on, so you've got to shock the muscles. He's not wrong, right? Bear with me. Let me take Arnold and the bros and blend them together with the science. And the problem that I have is the bros don't give a fuck what's going on with the science. They don't give a shit. But the science people like to make fun of bros and act like they're above them, elevated, that they're so much better than them, when they're fucking not. Their physiques are not better than them. Their advice is not better than them. The only thing they do better than the bros is run their fucking mouth about things that the bros don't give a fuck about and don't want to take part in anyways. That's the only thing that the scientific community has over the bros. Everything else, bros are fucking winning. Plain and simple. Now, bear with me. So if you want to take the shocking principle, the shock the muscles principle, which was also a Weider principle, the Weider shock principle, the old timers shock the muscles, the Arnold got a shock, I'm sure Arnold got it from Weider. What if you could take that and take science, right? Bridge them together so that you understand together what each other are talking about and realize that this is an actual thing. Hang on. So let's say we'll take an individual who's been training. He's an intermediate trainer. He's been out there hitting the gym hard, training hard, and his body has started to plateau, right? His body has started to plateau. Now, a plateau, that's a scientific thing, right? Science can measure that. Your body weight is not going up or down. Your muscle mass is not going up and down. Your strength is not going up or down. You have plateaued. It's no longer increasing, right? You have hit the plateau. Boom, you're stagnant. That is a scientific thing. Now, the way Arnold would put it, or the old timers would put it, like, your body gets used to it. Like, your body gets smart and gets used to it. That's not a false statement. The body is a living thing. It learns. Like your neurological system, your muscular system, your respiratory system, it learns. Like, there are neurological pathways that get created because your body learns. We learn by repetition, right? So what happens is the body adapts. It's an adaptation to that stimulus, and it adapts to that stress. And as you're giving it that stress, it adapts. That adaptation is a plateau. So yes, your body got smart. It adapted and plateaued. Science agrees that it's a plateau. You're now at a plateau. How do you break a plateau? Now, Arnold would say, shock the muscles. You've got to shock the muscles. Now, his demonstration was, if you're normally doing 12 to 13 repetitions, you now do 15 to 25 repetitions. You are now shocking the muscles. Now, he didn't say do 100 fucking rep sets. That's not what shocking the muscle is, right? Shocking the muscle, okay? Get ready for this. This is gonna blow the minds of the people that are science-based. This is gonna fucking knock you guys right over with a feather. Ready? Shocking the muscles means to change the stimulus. Fuck, hang on. That's a scientific term. Changing the stimulus, shocking the muscles. Bro, science. Bros know what the fuck is going on. Science, they know what's going on too, but they like to make fun of the bros because they kind of say it a certain way. Now, imagine if Arnold was sitting there, he's like, you've got to change the stimulus to the muscle so it can then respond and adapt to adaptations to... No, this is fucking Arnold. Arnold has the ear of the common person out there who's not a pro bodybuilder, who's not into this shit. You have to shock the muscles. You have to change what you're doing to get the body to start growing again. Now, shocking the muscles doesn't mean 100 rep sets, 20 drop sets, supersets. It doesn't mean any of that shit. It means changing the stimulus. Now, here's how that can be put into play. Here's how you shock the muscles successfully and tell the science crew to go fuck themselves. You either increase the weight, which actually sends a different stimulus, which sends a form of alert, right? It sends an alert to your body that there's a new stimulus and it's trying to figure out what's going on, so it adapts. That alert can be considered a shock. When somebody is alerted, they're usually shocked. There's an alert on your phone, you're usually shocked when you see the alert, right? Shocking, alert, pay attention, right? So now with that new alert that's coming to your body now has a new stimulus that it doesn't really know how to handle, so it begins to learn how to handle that stimulus. So that new shock, right? So let's say, you've been training 12 reps. Now you're training 25 reps. That is an initial shock to your system. It is an alert to your body to adapt to a new stress. Therefore, shocking the system breaks the plateau and moves you on to adapting to the new stress. Now, the problem is, I think people take it as, like, if I want to get my chest to grow and I go in there and I'm doing like 10 to 12 repetitions, and all of a sudden today, I want to go in there and I'm going to do like 50 repetitions, I'm going to break that plateau. Doing one workout doesn't break the plateau. You now have to adapt to the new stimulus, which means you do the new stimulus over and over again, which is why so many times people use advanced techniques, and they use them indiscriminately, just kind of tossing them in here and there. One day they do force reps, next day they do rest pause, the next day they do negatives, the next day they do a superset, next day they do a drop set. A lot of these people don't change all the time. However, you see somebody like Dorian Yates, that what he did was say, hey, I'm going to use force reps and let's say rest pause. And what he would do is, like, if one exercise he was doing force reps, right? That is a big shock to the body when it can't do it anymore. You're helping it push through that plateau, that sticking point, and it gets easier and easier over time. That's your body adapting to it. That is a stimulus. It is a shock to the body it's not used to, and the shock causes an adaptation, and you get better and bigger. So what Dorian did was he wrote it in his notebook. He was like, okay, this week we did this much for this many reps in 2 force reps. So next week what we're going to do is we're going to do try to do more weight for the same amount of reps and the same amount of force reps. If we can't get that, what we're going to do is we're going to get to the failure again, and we're going to do 1 or 2 more forced reps to force the growth through new adaptation, aka shocking the body in a different way. But he still kept using the same technique where he could measure it with metrics, okay? Meaning he could watch what he's writing on that paper go up. He could see whether it was working or not. If you're doing force reps 1 week, right, for chest, and the next week you do drop sets, and the next week you do supersets, the next week you do rest pause, how the fuck do you progress? Those are new stimuluses all the time. Now, your body's going to try to adapt to those, but it can't adapt to force reps if next week you're doing supersets. It can't adapt to supersets if next week you're doing drop sets. Like, it can't adapt. You're robbing yourself of that actual stimulus in getting a better physique. You're jumping too fast with this muscle confusion principle. Muscle confusion principle, again, is doing something like, hey, I usually do incline bench presses. Today I'm going to do flat. That actually does put a different stimulus on the chest. Let's say you start with inclines. This time you start with declines. It does do a different stimulus to your chest, your neurological pathway. Your body develops. It becomes its function. The body becomes its function. It learns by repetition. So if you do the same workouts over and over again, they get easier and easier, and they stop being productive. Take the workouts, just flip them, do them backwards. Start with the last exercise first, the first exercise last, and watch how your body responds again to that, right? Muscle confusion. That's what it means. But now what happens is, as you switch those exercises like that, for 10 to 12 weeks, you consistently do those, and your body will adapt to the new stress, right? This muscle confusion thing, because it's called muscle confusion, which I think really speaks to the general masses, the scientific community goes, like, your muscle's smart enough, like, you get confused. Like, they latch on to semantics realistically, what the scientific community is saying, the general person doesn't give a fuck about it. The general public don't give a fuck what they're saying. They can't understand it. They think they're pompous, cocky assholes and don't want to listen to them in the first place. And they're going to listen to Arnold. They're going to listen to bros because they're speaking their fucking language. When you're out there with all the scientific shit, you're not speaking the language of the average fucking person. You're speaking the language of certain people that know what the fuck's going on. And 99% of you speak a false language. You're fucking speaking a language you don't even realize and don't understand your fucking self. You're talking about shit you don't know because you've read stuff and you can regurgitate it, or you saw a video on it and you can memorize what they said and you spit it out. It's not that you understand it, because if you really understood the science, you'd understand that the shock principle, the muscle confusion principle, it's all changing the stimulus for a new adaptation. Now, learning how to apply that is a whole nother part that these fucking science people, they can't even grasp the concept of shocking the body or muscle confusion, let alone can they grasp the concepts of how to take both those concepts and apply them to progressive resistance, progressive overload, right? The same fucking principle that built the physique, you don't do away with it. You don't say suddenly like, well, now I've used progressive overload to build myself up to 200 pounds. Now I'm going to throw it out the window and only do drop sets. Your body's going to change in a different way and not the way you want to. You want to have that principle that you've used and you add, let's say, rest pause to it. And you continue doing those together, tracking them and letting your body use progressive overload with the new stimulus, with the shock to the muscles, with the confusion to the muscles. It's really not that fucking hard to understand. I think that the bros, they understand it, but they don't want to fight. They don't want to argue. They just get so fed up. It's like you're literally progressing at a rate. You're doing better. You're happy where you're at, and you have those fucking kids in high school. Like those fucking, what's that movie that fucking my wife likes? Actually, every girl I've ever known likes it. Mean Girls, right? It's like Mean Girls. Like they act like fucking little assholes because they think they're better than them. Meanwhile, the bros are still blowing them away. They look better physically. They fucking definitely do better in competitions. And 99% of the time, the bros are passionate about this shit. The science people aren't. They're passionate about science. And they really think that they're better than somebody. When they realize they're not better than them, they drop off. They no longer train. They no longer compete. They no longer are even involved in this shit. I'd say that there are more bros still right now for the last 10 years when I started than there are the science people. The science people have dropped off and gone on other things because they realize all the bullshit they were slinging before because it was new and science was impressive that there were people with lab coats talking about it and shit. And all these people hired these people and they did their fucking principles and they did their programs and they fucking failed. They wind up hiring a bro later on and getting better results. And all of a sudden, science is out the fucking window. I'll tell you right now that there are more supplements being used right now that have never fucking really been studied and absolutely have not been studied together in combination ever on the fucking entire planet. Half of these scientific motherfuckers are out there using supplements that have never, ever, ever been scientifically tested or studied together. And they take fucking scoops of these right for the fucking dome, dry it, and suck it down with water like that. So if you're so scientific, why don't you say, well, look, there's 30 things in this supplement. Can you show me where these 30 things have been studied together and what the results were for over this period of time? No, you look at each individual thing, which that's a whole different fucking ballgame than everything together in a supplement because now there's synergy, okay? Synergy, if you don't know what that is, look it up. And you don't know if any of these things cross or react with anything else, or each other in there. You don't know if it's going to fucking help you or harm you. But the latest research says this thing by itself does this. This thing by itself does this. This thing by itself does that. And they put it all in one fucking product and you take it. Have they ever been fucking put together before? No. Do you know what it's going to do? No. So you're going by papers and not using common fucking sense and logic and saying fucking, this thing's never been studied before. But you push it because of the individual studies. You push it because you think you know, but you don't. At least the bros pick it up and they go, well, this is supposed to do this, this is supposed to do that, this is supposed to do this. I'll give it a shot for a couple weeks and see how it works. I'll see what happens. I'll take it. And if I see an improvement in performance, I'll keep taking it. The fucking scientific community will keep taking it for 6 months, 2 years when it doesn't do anything because it has clinical research backing it. What the fuck? I can't wrap my head around it. I'm like, something doesn't work. I'll keep taking it because the research says it does. This works. I'm not taking, you see people fucking gain a muscle like crazy off it, fucking crazy fucking people in the gym actually using it and it's working. And you're like, there's no fucking research on this. So I'm not going to take it. What the fuck? Like, I can't wrap my head around the egos that are out there, and it's all just for show. It's all show and no go. It's all for the people out there to try to make themselves feel better about other people, to try to demean other people, to try to make themselves feel or seem more important than they really fucking are. And the bottom line is, yes, bodybuilding has science behind it. Bodybuilding begins with science. And what I mean by that is there is a training stimulus. It is the human body. There is nutrition involved. There are hormones involved. Science is the beginning of bodybuilding. But to progress in bodybuilding, whether you like it or not, is a fucking art form. It is a fucking art. It goes from being science to art very quickly after your newbie gains are gone. Because if you look at it, pretty much everybody can do what those science people talk about, 3-day a week, full body workout, whatever the case may be. And they'll all progress to a certain point where the newbie gains are done. Once those newbie gains are done, take the same people, take 20 people, and go back after 3 years and ask those 20 people if they're all doing the same thing. Every fucking person will be doing something different and progressing. It's an art form. It changes. After your newbie gains are gone, it takes a long time to learn how your personal body works. And I think that the experimentation, even, with supplements or whatever, when they do scientific papers and journals and stuff, those are just experiments until and even if they turn out not working, the data's still there. The scientific data or literature is there. Everything, whether you're a scientist or a bro, is a fucking experiment. The only difference is the bros go in the gym every single fucking day with one goal in mind: to be better. Be a better bodybuilder. Be bigger. Be leaner. Be a better bodybuilder. Scientists go in the gym every day to try to prove and disprove what they have fucking read and what they have found and what someone else has said. Who gives a fuck about what someone else said if they're fucking growing? I don't give a shit what Arnold said. Look what he accomplished. Go back and do Arnold's exact fucking workouts for 6 months. Go find all of it, download all of them. Do all of his workouts, forget about all the science, follow what he did for a diet, and I swear to fucking God, I guarantee you'll look better following what Arnold did 35 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe even longer at this point. You'll look better just following what he's saying, not knowing anything about science, than following any of that science bullshit you're with right now. Because right now, half of you motherfuckers look like you don't lift. All right? It's been fucking years. If you've been training for a fucking year and you look like you don't lift, you're fucking up. If you've been training for 5 years, you still look the fucking same, and you talk about being natural, fuck you. Your body should have grown. If you're not changing, it's because you're not fucking training right. You're not eating right. You're not doing the things that it takes to get your body to change because you're too busy reading fucking literature and going through too many fucking papers to try to figure out what's going on rather than being in a fucking gym and pushing yourself and seeing what you can do and what you can get out of it. So the bottom line is I'm tired of these motherfuckers, and it's been years. It's been fucking years. These motherfuckers are still at it, making fun of semantics, making fun of people that have accomplished more than they'll ever accomplish in their entire fucking lives. And they're still out there fucking picking out and making fun of the things that they say. Well, how about this? Science people, you entered our world. You came to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding didn't fucking seek you out. Bodybuilding's so far ahead of science with what they're fucking studying, it's light years ahead. Okay? Go to a regular doctor and tell him that you're taking fucking insulin to get bigger. He's going to think you're fucking nuts. Although bodybuilders take it all the time, he's going to tell you you're going to take it and die because you're not diabetic. Although bodybuilders take it every fucking day. We're so far ahead of that. You came to our fucking world. You walked into what we do and try to fucking start making fun of us when you can't fucking hold a candle to us. That makes no fucking sense. The bottom line is, bros are going to be bros, science is going to be science. And we should be working together. We shouldn't be fighting like this. But egos are in the way. And I know for a fact the bros just want to be left the fuck alone. They want to be able to say what they want to say and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is the results I'm getting. I don't give a fuck about science. They just want to be left the fuck alone. But at least they have the results to back up what they're saying. The science people, they want to show up, point fingers, make fun of people, show papers, and then never show anything. Anything. No physique, no nothing. No results, nothing compared to what the bros are getting. And then they claim to be smarter and have a more efficient way and how to do it the right way. I hate that. You know how to do it the right way. Fuck you. There is no right way. There's no right way and a wrong way. There's a way that produces results and a way that doesn't produce results. You need to figure it out because it's different for everybody. And once you get that shit inside your head and stop looking at the papers and watching looking so many fucking computer screens trying to figure out what the best way is, the bro already in the gym fucking passed you. He already went way fucking past you. He's way ahead of you. You're not going to fucking catch up to him. There's no way because he's putting in the effort while you're putting in the time fucking playing on the computer. So the choice is yours. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but research what I'm saying. Go out there and look. Go out there and look and see these science people based in science, and they have all the fucking scientific tools and the data and the forms, and they have the algorithms, and they have how the body works, and they got all these different things they can tell you. How many Mr. Olympias have they produced? How many Olympias have they produced at all? Think about it. 1 or 2, maybe 3 in the fucking entire time that it's been around. So the majority of people that get the best results are not concerned with the science. Yes, they may have looked at the science when they started training, but very quickly after the body adapted to the newbie gains, they decided to push themselves further and find out how they can reach levels and heights of physique that science didn't even know could fucking happen. You think that science looked at a human body and said, that could look like Dorian Yates? Yeah, people can look like that. Nobody fucking knew that that was even possible until Dorian did it. And if Dorian had sat back and said, well, science says this, science that, he took science and took it one step further. He used science and he used bro together. And lo and behold, Dorian broke new ground. Why? Because he wasn't locked into one and not the other. He understood both ways and used them together. And that's where we should be at. So in closing, guys, stop fucking with Arnold. Stop fucking with bros. Stop fucking with people that are being better at the given sport than you, that you're involved in. Okay? If they're better, ask why they're better. Find out why they're better. And stop talking about drugs. I've seen so many of these scientific people on drugs, and they look like shit too. They're still far beyond the people on drugs. So the bottom line is, guys, you got to learn what works for you. But just because somebody says something a certain way doesn't mean you can't benefit from it. Just because somebody uses a certain word or a certain term doesn't mean they're wrong. And if you pay attention, you just might find a key to unlocking your potential. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com is a blog. It's your potential bicep. And we are out.